You have zero experience programming and you don't know which programming language to use. You reached the correct place. Choosing a programming language when you're starting, maybe it's a bit complicated, so today I'm going to be teaching you which programming language you should use when you are starting. So now let's start. We are in the most popular technologies in the Stack Overflow survey. We have here a table with a lot of results with the most used programming languages. In the first two places, we have JavaScript and HTML and CSS. Both are languages. Well, HTML and CSS aren't actually languages, but let's say these three technologies are for web development. So web development is really demanded and a lot of people is using these technologies. So maybe if you are a web developer or you want to be a web developer, you should start to use these three technologies. Then we have SQL, this is for databases management, and we have Python. Python is used to the backend part of the web. The backend is the server, the database, and all that things. So this JavaScript and HTML and CSS are used for the front-end part of the web, you know, the design things, and for example Python is used to the backend part of a web. Let's go now to C#. C# is a language used to create video games. This language is used, for example, in Unity, one of the most used programming languages. Also, you have C++, that is used in some programming languages like Unreal Engine. You may be thinking why a lot of people is using C# and not C++, because you can see here the percentages 22 and 27. That's a big difference. A lot of people is using C#, I think, because it's simpler and easier to study and learn. C++ is maybe a bit harder and it's a bit more complicated than C#. So the people which is starting to learn programming usually chooses C#, obviously if they want to make games, because with C# or C++ you can't make web pages. These stats are from the category all respondents, but we have here professional developers and learning to code. Also we have here lots of technologies and programming languages. You can take a look, but these are the principles. For example, let's go to professional developers, and well, you can see that the results are quite similar. There are not many differences, you can see. And now let's go to the learning to code section. Well, maybe yes, here are a lot of differences. First of all, we have JavaScript, HTML, CSS. This is the same. Yes, it's the same in 3 categories. But for example, Python is 58% in learning to code, and for example here is 43, and here is 48, and here is 58, so that's a big difference. Surprisingly, for example, C++ is 34, C# is 20, and here C# is 29, and here is 28. So, and here C++ is 34, and here C++ is 20. I don't really know why C++ is 34 and C# is 20. I don't understand at all, because as far as I know, a lot of people is starting to use Unity, and Unity uses C#, and I recommend you to start with Unity. This is just to take a look at what the learning to code people is choosing to learn when they are starting. So now, which programming language should you start to learn? As I always say, this depends on your purposes. It's not the same if you want to learn programming, for example, to make web, to make games. It's not the same. You have to learn different programming languages. As we could see on the stats, a lot of people that want to be a web developer starts with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Actually, these 3 technologies, JavaScript, yes, JavaScript is really demanded nowadays to make web pages. So you should start by there if you want to be a front-end developer. What is a front-end developer? A front-end developer takes care of the design of the page, you know, the colors, the fonts, the positioning of elements, and all that things. Whereas if you want to be a backend developer, for example, works in the server, in the database, all the things that you can't see on a web page. For example, if you enter Instagram, you can't see how Instagram stores your username, your password, your post, your stories, etc. And to make that backend, you can use Python, for example. But there are also a lot of technologies you can use. Python, for example, you can use it to make simple games, or even make 3D games using a library called Ursina Engine. Yes, you can make games with Python. There are advantages and disadvantages about creating your games without the game engine, and well, maybe it really depends on your own if you want or not to use a game engine, for example Unity or Unreal or GameMaker Studio. We also saw that C++ and C# are also used. These 2 languages are used to create your own games in a game engine such as Unity and Unreal with C++ and Unity with C#. Your question could be, should I choose Unity or should I choose Unreal? There is not one correct answer, so I will just say a couple of things. Firstly, C# is easier to learn and understand, and as I said before, C++ is a bit more complicated. With Unreal, you can make huge 3D things with effects, with ray tracing, with post-processing, because for example, games like Fortnite are made with Unreal Engine. So it's a really powerful game engine. In addition, you have a lot of tutorials about Unity. You don't have a lot of tutorials about Unity. So if you are starting, you need a lot of tutorials, you need a lot of information on the internet. And Unreal, yes, maybe there are tutorials, you can learn it perfectly, but the amount of tutorials of Unity is just massive. It's the most used programming language, the most used game engine, you know. I started using Unity. This was my second game engine because I started using Godot. Godot uses GDScript. The thing with Godot is that it isn't used by a lot of people. Its community is not really big, and also is a quite new game engine. I think it has like 5-6 years. Not having a lot of people, it's not that Godot is a bad game engine. No. I've used it for about 8 or 9 months, even a year, I would say, and I could make really good things. But the point that the community is not really big, you don't have a lot of tutorials. Yes, it's a huge disadvantage. In conclusion, if you want to be a game developer, you have 3 main options: Godot, Unity, and Unreal. The most easy is Godot. Then you have Unity and Unreal, that is the most difficult to learn. If you are starting, you should choose between Godot or Unity. I have a video on the channel talking about Godot and Unity, disadvantages and advantages about. Then if you want to be a web developer, you don't have a lot of options. You have to start with HTML and CSS. With HTML, you create the basics of a web page, the text, the description, the images, and with CSS you grab those elements and you style them. You put colors, you put transitions, all the artistic side. And then with JavaScript you put the logic. That's why if you are a web developer, usually your first programming language is JavaScript, because HTML and CSS are just technologies, let's say. I hope this video was helpful to you. I talked a lot about video games because that's what I am. I am a video game developer. So this is the end of the video. If you like it, please subscribe and like as well. And see you on the next one. Bye bye. Have a great day.